All right, hello Libra. We're gonna do your reading for December. Okay, automatically there's like a key coming out. You have some information that might be key to a specific scenario. Okay, I don't know. Suddenly, my cat wants to be like very. It's like there's something about like you being very. You've got key knowledge. Okay, yeah. There's the cat. There's the doorway. Okay. You have some type of information that could be very useful to you or someone else. I think you might know that or at least have like a clue about it. Right. I don't think this is like you're not stealing any information here. It's like commonly known casting call kind of thing right here. Okay. So you're not stealing anything. You're just literally like, you know how to get through the doorway if you need to. You have access to like the behind the scenes kind of imagery. If so, there's no robbing the hood. There's no information exchange that's not known about. It's known. Yeah, look. So there's not gonna be a witch trying to like pick the locks or something like that. Like you've made your presence known. So the information that's coming through. Yeah, here's grace, and there's deprivation in the reverse. So there's like grace being shown. Either you're showing someone else grace, or they're showing you grace. Um, there's something about like also needing, yeah, the compromise. That's what I mean. Is that like there's something about like your this exchange of information. You didn't have this before, so you didn't have the key to get information that you might have had. Like I'm just getting firewall energy. Like you didn't have the information that you needed to get through the firewall to compromise the so that you're not stealing anything. It's an equal exchange of info, right? So there you're not letting anybody into the kingdom or the castle. It's like damaging, but you're also not gonna just let anybody in there, right? There's gifts coming out. I'm not gonna lie, this did come out in the reverse on top of the key. So like maybe you thought that you needed to have a specific ability or like a gift that was like specifically for you or I don't know, something very particular. This isn't a bloodline thing. This is one of those like more generally speaking applicable it's a piece of information that could be broadly applicable rather than like you could personally apply it, yes, but also this is something that's like could affect like the whole community if it was implemented the right way, for example, right? Yeah, no judgment there. This is compromise. So this is you're crossing the threshold of not judging so quickly. There's something about maybe looking at things from the cover, like the way that they look here is very different from the way that they look here. Now you can see that there's a witch that was trying to get in. Now she cannot get in anywhere. Okay. So it's really that's one of those that's a piece of information that you're now like climbing on. You're kind of banking on it. You know how to like preserve this information for yourself and for others in a way that's like fruitful or helpful or productive, if that makes sense, like progressive. So rather than just I don't I'm trying to think of a good example of this. This would be knowing your mom's password, right? You know your mom's password to her computer, her phone, whatever, just because you're her child. Doesn't mean that she wants everybody having a password. It means that she's trusting her child with that, right? She's trusting her kid. It's her offspring. Why would she not? Right? But then there's also like this component of like, that's information that's supposed to be secret or sacred until the moment that you like pass it down. So this is like being like, oh, my mom's been absconded with, like she's away right now or whatever. I need to find her. I can't get her location off of maybe I don't even know what it would be, like an Apple, the Apple location. I can't find her phone unless I have the password. So I'm going to now use the password in a way that's productive to our relationship being mutually beneficial. I've got the information for the password. This computer can tell me where she is. Where is she located? What was the last place that she logged in? Right? Now I can use all those pieces of information to get where I need to go without, just offering the information up for anybody. Does that make sense? There's no judgment there. It's literally just like, this is a piece of privileged information that I can share when it's necessary. Yeah, here's pleasure coming out and the upright and appreciation. So it's about, like sometimes you do have sensitive information, or sometimes something is like really intimate, right? And you don't necessarily want to share that with everyone, but you also just don't want to share it with like nobody at all. You know what I Do you know what I mean? Like there's like a delicate line. Yeah, there's new beginnings. There's there's a fine line that needs to be. It's like a tightrope, walking a tightrope. You give people enough rope that they could hang themselves, and if they don't, then that's great. Then you can compromise. But if they hang themselves during that time, and you're just like, dude, I can't even help you because this is like how you're choosing to use the information, is as a rope, on like a noose for your own self. You know what I mean? You can't really help people that want to do that. You just gotta let them go do that. Rainbows coming out with help in the reverse. Yeah, it's like you're staying within the coverage that you have. Okay, you know that you're part of the ark or whatever, like Noah's Ark or whatever. You're already on the ark. You already have your place reserved. It's like you've made your tickets have been solidified on the ark. Okay, yeah. Here's divine sight coming out, number 7, with help in the reverse. That's what I mean. You can't help other people get onto the ark. They have to purchase their own ticket, find their own key, get through that doorway on their own without doing other people dirty. I was like having this really interesting conversation with someone earlier about like what is considered dirty. Well, it depends on what you focus on. Are you a spiritual person? Are you a materialistic, like physical person? You can have a physically dirty environment, or you can have like a spiritually dirty environment where you do stuff to each other, like you call each other names and you're abusive to each other emotionally, physically, whatever. That's another type of dirty in a relationship. That's a different type of interaction. We're just talking about like how some people have different thresholds, which is interesting because these are doorways right here. This is one doorway and this is another. Some people have different, look, this is coming out right underneath that. It's super interesting. This witch right here, every person has a different threshold for what they can handle and what they can't handle. So this witch in the upright would mean like, oh, I don't really care which thing you're flinging at me right now. I can deal with it, right? But when the doorway is there, but not everybody can get through it, it means that sometimes like there's limits that other people are not going to see. That divine sight right here with the key, sometimes things don't look the way that they really are. Or you could, so for example, if you pick a guy that's like kind of rough around the edges, right? He's scruffy, as like a 5 o'clock shadow, right? Who cares? You're really gonna judge someone for having a 5 o'clock shadow when there's such thing as a shaver? Like he could just go shave his face and that's like clean. You clean up nice, kid. You know what I mean? Like it's things that people can change is one thing. Things that people cannot change is a different thing. If you're fundamentally not a good person and you don't have any problem popping a woman in her face or, slapping her around a little bit, like that's on you. Like nobody else is going to be able to change that until you're ready to change that. Nobody can do anything for you to change your behavior is what I'm trying to say. So that's what I mean, but everyone has a different threshold. Some women, as long as all their stuff is being paid for, they're going on shopping sprees, they feel like they're being exalted with materialistic stuff. They don't care. They'll stay in those abusive relationships, and that is the compromise to them. For other women, we're not putting up with that even a little bit. I might seem docile or really like, laid back, whatever, But this divine sight isn't for nothing. You can see it coming a mile away when you're about to not enjoy what someone is trying to bring into the threshold. You need to say something to them and then either work through it or just let it go. One or the other. But you can't, holding on to that energy is not behooving anybody, is what I'll just leave it there. Let me get 2 more cards and I'm done with this reading for you. I don't know if this is like your energy going towards someone else or their energy coming towards you. Here's the Queen of Unicorns coming out. So this is like divine sight coming from a queen. We just saw the princess being able to climb this information, right? Well, once you get to the top of the information and you're not letting random people take from your energy source, that's when you get queen status. You go from being a princess to a queen. Then you get matriarch status once you've gotten married as a queen, right? I guess you get married and then you are a queen. But I'm just trying to say once the generations have all fulfilled their duties, I guess you could say, there's the help. There's the aid that comes with it. And that aid is physical, mental, spiritual, and otherwise. It's a drop. It's a drop of the hat. You see that they're both wearing hats? She's wearing a witch's hat and he's wearing like a hat with a feather in it. This is you are like, wherever I put my hat, that's where my home is. That's what this is. It's help, it's aid, it's understanding of the fact that your spiritual sight doesn't necessarily always align with like what is physically going on, or maybe it does and other people just can't perceive it that way. So don't like judge things by what they look like, or don't be so quick to do so. Maybe you still can, and I mean of course you will because that's what humans do, but also just know that like, yeah, here's aspiration number 1 coming out with Archangel Michael in the background. Just know that you've already won. You don't have to fight for this anymore. You don't need it's no competition, basically. This is number 1. You don't need to aspire for more. You are exactly enough. You have this divine sight, Queen of Unicorns, and help right in front of you. Could be dealing with an earth sign. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to leave that there. Compromise goes with aspiration, and all of this is coming with that kind of perception of the fact that there's open doors available, but you have to be able to sit there and look at them. Like acknowledge that there's doors available for you to either open or leave or close or whatever kind of compromise you need to make for yourself. You'll know how that applies. Hopefully this was helpful. Bye.